Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
3 separate petitions sought removal of Mr. Ejabing as well. I'm talking about the special prosecutor. Now, in line with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and the Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, the President referred the 10 petitions to the Chief Justice on November 25, 2025 for a preliminary determination of whether they disclose a prima facie case for further proceedings. Now, the statement said the grounds cited by the petitioners included allegations of misconduct such as chronism, abuse of office, and gross incompetence, and some of the petitions were filed by individuals including an electoral commission staff member, one Mr. Joseph Blangsing Edumadze, a database administrator at the Commission's headquarters, who cited 12 counts of stated misbehavior, which is one of the grounds on which you can remove an Article 146 public office holder. Now, Mr. Kwachu Fusu had earlier explained that the President's role in the process and to forwarding the petitions to the appropriate authority, in this instance, the Chief Justice, and the President takes no further part unless required or required after the review. Now, in a letter dated January 26, 2026, the Chief Justice informed the President that none of the petitions met the constitutional threshold required to trigger further investigations or proceedings against the named officials. Now, the Presidency said no prima facie case had been established and the matter was closed at that stage. Honorable, you must be very disappointed because some of your communicators and some of your colleagues said, oh, the Electoral Commission is gone, the Commissioner is gone, and the deputies are gone. Kise Jabing is a goner. As for Kise Jabing, you were in full force of any attempts to get him out. Maybe not you personally, I don't know about you, but most of your communicators. So I don't know how you felt when you heard the news yesterday that they are safe, everything is fine, they are not going anywhere. And in fact, yesterday there was an NDC rep here, I've forgotten who the person was. If you can remind me, the NDC rep was yesterday. Dapila. He said, look, the fact of the matter is that a lot of NDC supporters are very, very unhappy, very disappointed. The electoral commissioner is still there, So, but you must be happy, but disappointed.
Muru, none of the above.
Oh,
to the extent that if you're a student of politics and governance, you realize that this is the only reasonable conclusion the President could get to.
But that's not what you said. We've been saying in the past.
Yeah, so the issue is that they, as a political party, had come into power with some intentions.
Okay.
Get away the Chief Justice, get away the EC and her deputies. The special prosecutors, when they became a later development, so that one, it wasn't a campaign promise. But in terms of removing the Chief Justice and that of the Electoral Commissioner and her deputies had been part and parcel of NDC story in opposition, even in government when they took power. So they started with their first objective. You know the petitioners to the Torkornoo and their lawyers. Their lawyers included sympathizers of the NDC or active NDC members.
Okay.
And then they did what they had to do. Let's take it from the legal point of view. So Article 146 clearly, as you have read, makes provision for anybody to present a petition to the President asking for the removal of anybody who is covered under this particular provision.
Yes.
Herein, if you bring in the EC or the Special Prosecutor, the Special Prosecutors Act, this is the angle in which you go. Now, when the petition is received, the President is obliged to refer it to the Chief Justice, in this case. And then the Chief Justice has 30 days to submit a report to the President, indicating whether the petitions establishes some prima facie case for the respondents to accordingly answer. And then if the report comes, the President is bound by the position of the Chief Justice. That is for these people. So the President followed due process, referred the petitions to the Chief Justice. And then we are told that the Chief Justice submitted his report to the President, indicating that those petitions lacked merit and it couldn't establish any prima facie and so it should be dismissed and thrown out. What were some of the issues raised in that petition? It bordered on misconduct on the part of the EC, talked about incompetence on the part of the EC and their deputies, amongst others. Now,
have you cited the petition?
No, I have not cited, but the petitioners indicated the direction. The Edumazi or he gave some indications as to the areas he had petitioned on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then with respect to Kisei Jabintu, the petitioners gave some indications. So I'm only referring to those indications that it bordered on misstated misconduct in some breath, incompetence on another breath.
But those are the grounds.
Yeah, so these are the areas they try to establish their basis. Now, in the case of Torkornoo, we had stated misconduct amongst others. However, in her case, we had the benefit of getting the petitions leaked. And so we knew exactly the grounds for the petitions. And I stood and indicated that if these bases were what we were relying on to remove a Chief Justice, then we brought the bar too low.
Because there is no clarity on what actually constitutes stated misbehavior and incompetence. So it is then left at the discretion.
Muru, I'm coming there.
Yes.
I'm coming there. So even me, as a young lawyer of 10 years plus at the bar, having perused the petition against Torkornoo, and the basis of calling for a removal indicated that even if you establish some level of misconduct, even if you identify some level of misconduct, to remove the high office of the third person of this republic, you needed to raise that bar and not let it be that low. That basis was wrong. Now, you see, when the president referred the matter to the Gertrude's own to Council of State, you remember that one member of the Council of State, at least, former Chief Justice Sofa Akufu, had grounds to indicate that she did not believe that the grounds for establishing prima facie against Torkornoo on those bases were grounded. As a former Chief Justice, compare her to the same position of the current Chief Justice. And remember, even Torkornoo has had benefit to also sit on some petitions, some dismissed and others established. So my question is it the case that the Council of State lacked the capacity to look at the evidence before them and come to a firm conclusion that the basis that was given for the removal of the former Chief Justice was not sufficient enough? Because I believe that if Torkornoo happened to be a servant of another public office and her petition had come for the president to refer to a sitting Chief Justice, that Chief Justice would have dismissed that petition. Like now, we are being told that even that concerning the special prosecutor and that of the EC had been dismissed. Because the basis from a pure judicial point of view, if you want to remove independent public office holders who are guaranteed by the Constitution, you need to be careful in not allowing whimsical, flimsy, vexatious basis to remove people in authority.
But that's
no, I understand. So
yes,
now
yes,
you see, Moro,
yes,
the disappointment is in the fact that if people have the presidential, the Constitutional Review Committee have done a lot of work in this area to broaden and all of that. But I'm saying that opportunity that availed to the president and the Council of State to reach that conclusion that led to the removal of Torkornoo, based on what we have seen today, it is a hard one for any reasonable person, as I see, to accept.
In the case of Charlotte Osei, what were some of the
procurement breaches?
Procurement breaches.
Yes.
Something that to today she disagrees with.
Yes.
But at the time, those who sat on the petition thought and felt that she had done something wrong, so she should go.
So
the point I'm trying to make is that for as long as there is no, there's for as long as there's some level of ambiguity as to what constitutes stated misbehavior and incompetence,
Nobody can take
that's the point I'm trying to make.
That's why I'm saying that it is for no reason that the Constitution provided that this determination should be done by people of higher reputation, either the Council of State or the Chief Justice. It is for good reason, so that they, at whatever forum they are in, would do justice to the facts before them. Right. And I'm saying that if the current Chief Justice had come to this conclusion, it doesn't mean that he didn't find some issues around the petition that were justifiable or not. But in removing people of that constitutional bodies, if you bring it in today, and I'm saying that if Torkornoo's petition had been the fact that Torkornoo served as a special prosecutor or as an EC, and the same petition has been brought and the president had referred to a Chief Justice, including the current Chief Justice, I am of a firm belief that the Chief Justice would have reached the same conclusion, that there is no prima facie. So the next point is that the president, after removing Torkornoo, had an international backlash in terms of Ghana's ratings and ranking in Corruption Perception Index.
Yeah, but Honorable, I'm saying that determination as to whether you are right or wrong has been tainted by bias or has been tainted by prejudice.
Correct.
And I say, now who calls them?
Oh, it's the constitutional lacuna.
So that's
it's a constitutional lacuna. So that's it. But we would also put the backstops with someone. And the fact that that's why nobody has challenged the president's right to go through that process, including what we are discussing now. But the judgment, the sanction that had been put on the reputation, someone who has served in this high office as a Chief Justice in the judicial service over how many years? And then her removal is based on such excuse, such reasons. Now, you have even lower bodies, because you cannot equate EC's role to that of a Chief Justice. Constitutionally, the EC position is equivalent to Court of Appeal judge.
Okay.
That of Special Prosecutor is equivalent to a Court of Appeal judge. The Chief Justice is of Supreme Court, and even the head of the judiciary. So the standard should be higher. It is only unfortunate that the forum that led to a removal, which is the Council of State, that one sitting Chief Justice disagreed, tells you that the judges, the opportunity, so it tells me as a student of law and as a constitutional law student, that even when we have opportunity in Parliament, these basis of giving it to Council of State people should be reviewed.
Okay.
And set it to higher standards. Give it to 3 justices. Okay. Now in the case, it is the Chief Justice that does it. Now if it is against the Chief Justice, can we establish an independent body? Not the Council of State that is tainted with political representations. And people appointed by the president who sing and dance his tune as advisors to the president to take decision to remove people of that stature. Yeah. And these are the issues we are raising. Okay. And Chief Justice Torkornoo is vindicated. People don't want to speak the truth.
Okay.
But I believe that if the issues, and I'm saying, even there should be, for transparency's sake, publication of the prima facie evidence against Torkornoo.
Should be published.
Should be published. For transparency, I will take a decision area. Who
should publish it?
The president, for the sake of.
Torkornoo she has a copy.
Which one?
Or she doesn't have a copy.
Which one?
Of the grounds upon which the prima facie.
No. They don't publish it. for her. They just said the prima facie has been established. She called for it. It was never given.
Well, it has never been given anyway.
Anything I may say, for accountability and transparency's sake, if you publish the Council of State prima facie and then put that of EC from the Chief Justice, you go see something for inside.
Really?
Get it published, council. Let us call for the publication of this prima facie. At least the decision has been taken already.
Honor, would you join him?
Uncle.
Bro, that's his turn. So let him oh my.
You see,
That's a slippery slope.
No man.
Yes, that's a slippery slope.
let us have the fact so that at least as Ghanaians,
Okay.
we will be satisfied that bodies given constitutional mandate
Okay.
exercise them in good faith,
All right.
not on political lines.
All right.
And I'm saying that the president, though I don't want to impugn on the fact that this was a presidential decision to the Chief Justice to do whatever it is.
Okay.
But when these petitions were brought, there were international concerns that government is trying to fight against bodies that are supposed to work against corruption, amongst others. So that if they had also secured the removal of these bodies, definitely Ghana's public, international public rating,
Okay.
Ghana's international public perspective would have been that we don't believe in good governance.
Okay, let me bring in Abdul Fattah. Honorable, what thou sayest?
Moro, thank you so
heard
much.
it?
I did. I heard him loud and clear. And let me start with his opening remarks. I'm not sure he's even aware he said those things.
Okay.
In his preliminary comment, he said, if you look at the lawyers for the petitioners against Justice Torkornoo, they were strong and core NDC lawyers. He started with that.
Sympathizers.
And you see, by their words, they shall be known. Do you know who was the lawyer for Justice Gertrude Araba Torkornoo?
The former Attorney General.
Godfrey
Dami.
Godfrey
Yes, Godfrey
Dami, a
Dami.
core NPP person. And so if you are saying that the petitioners who went against Justice Torkornoo, by the fact that they had NDC lawyers as their lawyers, it means that there's a link. So what link are you expecting us to draw when you say, when it's clear that Justice Torkornoo's lawyer was Araba Torkornoo, was Godfrey Dami. So clearly, even whilst she was there as Chief Justice, there was some relationship, some bond between herself and the NPP, for which reason you have an NPP Attorney General being her lawyer in such an instance.
So,
you have brought us that discussion. I haven't brought it.
What is
I just want to paint that picture. And I'm not sure. That is just by way of preliminary remarks.
What's the consequence of that?
I'm done. I'm done. So
It's of no consequence.
I'm done. So I'm moving on.
Proceed.
I
Now-
know what he's asking is, in other words, what are you
Yeah,
saying?
what are you saying?
I've said nothing, and I don't intend to.
He said the petitioners.
Moro,
were
can we
being
make progress? I don't want
counseled
this to
by
eat into my
NDC
time.
lawyers.
Moro.
Yes.
So the point
Moro,
is that
it's my
he's saying the
time
petitioners are
you are now
NDC.
using.
Yes.
I
That's
beg you.
that's the logic.
Yes.
Now you are saying that, okay, if that is the logic, the extension of that logic, or by parity of reasoning, if Gertrude Torkornoo's lawyer being Godfrey Dami,
Yes.
and you're asking, what does that also mean?
Yes.
Does that mean Gertrude Torkornoo is NPP?
Yes.
You get so that's the question you're asking.
I'm leaving
I don't see you
I'm
because of the
leaving it to Ghanaians
fasting.
to
I'm trying to avoid some of
I'm
these
leaving it to
questions.
Ghanaians.
But please go ahead. Yeah. No, but it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate
What is
question.
the
Yes.
effect?
Well, sitting here, each of us wear two hats. One being a lawyer, and seeing this from the angle of the legal lens, and then being a politician because we are all members of parliament. In fact, if you ask me on the side of being a politician, I'll say I'm heavily disappointed, highly disappointed. And look, when you are even on the ground, your constituency, and you move around. In fact, some of the things you hear from your constituents, especially our core party people, Honorable, you have to do everything to see to the removal of this EC chair. She's not for us. In fact, she has made it so blatantly clear that even the ordinary man on the street. And so trust me, as a party, we will not be forgiven. But That is on the side of politics. Currently, I wear two hats. On the side of the law, you see, we always told them from the beginning, when we had the Torkornoo case, we always told them that, you see, if you look at the rendition of Article 146, the president is only a conveyor belt and has no major role in all this. In fact, if you look at even the Constitution, it gives timelines within which some of these processes must be done. You receive it 7 days, you transmit it, 30 days they report, committee is set up, 90 days they report. So the president is merely a conveyor belt. And we told them this. And so in each of these instances, both in the Torkornoo case and in the instant case of the EC chair and the OSP, the president is only communicating what has been sent to him. In the instance of the Torkornoo, the prima facie case that was made by the Council of State, and the president was merely a conveyor belt. Because that prima facie case triggered the processes. And so, by law, he has to establish a committee, look into it. The committee came out with it, but he has no, look, that decision was the committee's decision, which he has to go by. We told them this. They refused. They kept saying, no, he's the president.
They said they don't believe it.
They don't believe it.
Yeah.
Today, another body has been given the work by the Constitution. They have done their report, and they have forwarded it to the president. If the president has interest, do you think the president will not even insist on influencing the process? If truly.
Okay.
No.
I get where you're coming from.
So the president is only conveying what has been brought to him in both instances. And so the current Chief Justice has come to the determination.
So in essence, what you're saying is that if the NPP's accusation in the past is anything to go by,
yes,
and the accusation being that it is John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government that has taken Torkornoo out.
That is it.
So you're asking, if indeed that is the case, why isn't John Dramani Mahama, whose party has been baying for the blood of Charlotte Osei, Jean Mensah, why won't he also take her out? If it was that easy. That's the question.
Yes. Answer is damage control.
Then you cause the damage before you come to the control. I'll tell you that if
you cause the first damage.
If that's the case,
you cause the first damage. So you are using
that's a very interesting question.
Yes.
Because you kept insisting
that
it was the president and his government that had taken her out.
Yes.
But that has been the position, and he started by saying
you remember the things they said.
Because you know what? Interestingly, I said Ketia actually held. It did.
Okay.
That's what
I was coming to. You remember?
Yes.
They were playing. In fact, they were showing us videos of what I said Ketia had said
about Jean Mensah.
About even the Chief Justice.
Yes.
At the time,
no, there's another interview where he said Jean Mensah should not be there. She must go.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not building it.
Okay.
You remember they were playing during the period that we had the Justice Torkornoo's issue. They were playing videos of when NPP and these leaders were talking about the need to get rid of Jean Mensah and how Torkornoo was being biased towards this. And they said those things were all what influenced the removal of Justice Torkornoo.
Fact.
Today, there are videos. There are videos that have Ketia talking about the need to get rid of the EC chair, Jean Mensah. The process has started, gone through, and is completed without
damage control.
Without Ketia achieving its aim. So, you see, these are people who would choose one position or the other based on convenience.
Very true.
But we have told them that we are resetting the country. You see, there's a price to pay for resetting the country. And I see that as the price we may have to pay as NDC. We have told them that we will not let matters continue the way they have been handled.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we had a whole lawyer being our president at the time they were in power. And we saw how our institutions were bastardized. How law, in fact, logic was just thrown to the dogs. You could see that everything, once it was, they were seeing it to be legal. They had no problem with it, regardless of how it seemed or smelled. You understand?
Yes.
Today, I am happy for the fact that at least this process started and ended under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And they have seen. And you know when Torkornoo issue concluded, they were saying, oh, it was just the beginning. These people are starting it because the target is EC chair. And that they have done this.
If you are started from EC chair,
I
you
remember-
never have gotten to chief justice.
I remember-
So you chose your first option, your biggest one. Now you've achieved the biggest one.
I remember when
But honorable, your suspicion again was that the government wanted the CJ out.
Yes.
So that they can achieve the objective of removing the ECJ.
it was clear. We
That was
they
what
were
you said.
communicating
Yes.
it everywhere.
And we asked what your evidence was. You said, no, you
Oh,
don't really have any evidence.
yes.
But in fact, your evidence was more than a
And let me tell you another disappointment.
That had been said.
Let me tell you
That's
another thing they said.
Now the opposite has happened.
Damage control.
Let me tell you, Moro, let me tell you another thing they said, which has come back to them.
Damage control.
When majority leader
Yes.
and the majority chief whip kickstarted the process. They kickstarted the process to remove the OSP
Yes.
in Parliament.
Yes.
They were the people who were saying that this thing has the blessing of the president.
Yeah.
They know what NDC is doing. NDC is doing it, and
No, the OSP move, and then we had consensus from Parliament too. We
But
had
I'm telling you
consensus
what-
from
yeah,
Parliament
there was that
that
consensus.
OSP. So
But
that
let me tell you.
we wouldn't put that
Let
at
me
the
tell
doorstep
you,
of the
people
president.
you had indications.
OSP
Look,
did.
I sat on platforms with NPP communicators where they said that we should not be doing this because in the midst of those, your mama was also saying certain things. You understand? And they felt that your mama was just trying to play the good boy thing. You understand? But in the end, we all saw how strong he stood on the issue and how it finally ended. And so, please, we are telling you that we have moved away. The way you knew our politics, we have taken Ghana off that side. You understand? And so, we have reset the country for you. And we are only praying that when you come to power, maybe in 30, 32 years after, you will not take us back. Because this is how we reset a country. And when
Do you want the
But
publication
saying
of the
that
prima
says
facie?
your base is not happy with this at all.
I tell you that there's a price to pay. I'm telling you that, look, this is an issue. Each of us will have to go back to our processes to come next. And it's very sad. Look, you remember we had issues with Boss Basari. Look, how can a deputy EC chair describe a party like NDC in Ghanaian politics? NDC, NPP, you can't dispense with them. How can you describe a whole political party as the biggest threat to Ghana's democracy? That is not less a person than a deputy EC chair. That NDC is the biggest threat to Ghana's democracy. And you remember when we had issue with EC, where EC, in calling an IPAC, the first IPAC they called, that was the 2020 elections, they gave us an invitation 45 minutes to the time. Look, if we were to sit here and chronicle the sins of EC against the NDC, we'll even end up getting our grassroots, our base, more angry at us at this decision. But you see, he made another analogy. We have 31 members of the Council of State. And he said that one member out of the Council of State had issue to say that the petition that was filed against Justice Torkornoo to her was weak. We have 31 members. Can he tell us what the position of the other 30 members was?
They never came out to state.
Yes, so it's to tell you that if
But
one
that one
has,
that
if one has
was
a
the
position,
former
one out
Chief
of, so it was
Justice.
just 1 out of 30.
Yes.
1 out of 31.
Yes.
So that obviously is a majority decision, clear majority.
Of
It's
course,
like
that's why it's passed. But that one is a former Chief Justice. So the standard of evaluating such petitions and establishing prima facie, if you can even have 40 people, you're a lawyer in Yendi, you're a lawyer from Yendi, you have constituents. If you bring 100 constituents from Yendi, and then there's a matter of legal interpretation, and they are not lawyers, or they don't have so much, and then they reach a conclusion. But you, from your legal professional training, you reach another conclusion. If I'm giving weight to it, would I be weighting the 100 over your one opinion?
I look forward to Afenyo, your minority leader Afenyo marking,
All right,
making a statement on the floor of Parliament on this decision. You see,
okay.
He was talking. Look. When even recently, the current Chief Justice gave them an indication that he was coming to meet Parliament, they quickly Afenyo marking and quickly went. They even held a press conference, and he lambasted the Chief Justice.
When was that?
Prior to the Pandai decision, in fact, the day before the Pandai decision, or 2 days to the Pandai decision, he didn't know Afenyo Markin was holding a press conference. I think that was a press conference that he was holding, and he had to leave it and run to Bongwe's house where you guys had gone and left him. He was chastising Justice Bafubode. 2 days to the Supreme Court decision on the Pandawa.
That's what.
A lot of things. In fact, he even said even the choice of Bafubon, the way he came to power, was tainted. Look,
but that was said before he was made the chief justice.
And he said because of that, you are not available to meet him. You know, the chief justice they made a request to meet both sides of parliament. That they were coming to meet us. Your people, your side, you called back. You said you were not ready to meet him. After did that press conference, and that you have questions. There are questions about how he came to power.
I think we've moved on in accepting Justice Bafuboni as a legitimate.
I'm talking about something you did as late as 2 weeks.
No.
I'm talking about something as late as 2 weeks.
I said I'm unaware of it, but I can tell you with all certainty that as a political party,
you haven't. Where is your leader?
I'm speaking on
no
the
wonder
part
you didn't
of
listen
NPP.
to him.
No, hold it.
No wonder you didn't listen. I will listen to him. Maybe because you were hit hard.
I'm here speaking on
your leader. I'm talking about your leader.
I said I haven't heard it.
That's your problem.
No, unless you produce the.
Please confirm whether he did that press conference. And some of us were even warning for you.
Give me a copy. Give me a copy of
it's online. After the market press conference,
finish,
2 days. Let's look at the date.
Come here again.
Look at the date. The Supreme Court gave his decision on the Pandawa. 2 days that day, and we're worried with you. We're worried for you.
No, share with me. I will come back next week with you on this matter to discuss. But what
I can
I'm
give you the date. The date was
no, you share the video with me.
Because you don't have. Yeah, let's move on.
Yes.
So that's what I'm telling you. That so let me move on.
I thought you see, finished.
No, I'm almost landed. Don't worry, you don't have an issue. And he was talking about the lowering of bar in the case of Justice Torkornoo. But you see, the bar, he is not concerned about how the bar was in the case of Charlotte Osei, and I was happy that you brought that issue up.
Okay.
Can you tell us what the state of the bar, whether it was lowered or was kept that high in the case of Charlotte Osei? You were jubilating everywhere.
Okay.
No. You see, that is why I agree with this current the recommendation by the Constitutional Review Commission, which says we should find a way of tightening this thing. I think Article 146 is not helping us. It's not helping us. It leaves a lot of room for a lot of things to be done.
Okay.
And if you don't have a statesman, somebody who is so concerned and who means well for Ghana, like if you don't have somebody like that, like John Dramani Mahama, and you have another person, chances are the person will take decisions and come to conclusions that will hurt the very fiber of our society. And so, Moro, we are hurt.
All right.
We are hurt that this decision is coming this way.
Okay.
You understand? And our base is actually very peeved.
Okay.
And we have to find a way to address this. But we as core party members, we believe that the EC as it is presently constituted is not fit for purpose.
Okay.
It's unfortunate the Constitution, Article 146, is giving us only 3 legs to stand on in removing the EC chair. 1, incompetence. 2, stated misbehavior. And 3, incapacity based on mind or body.
Infirmity.
Based on infirmity of mind or body.
Yeah.
These are the only 3 things. But you see, what about if the person passes all these 3 tests, but he or she shows open bias? That was a key stakeholder.
You can situate it under incompetence.
So, Bosman Asare, with that comment he made, where do you put him?
You just mentioned it. We have not heard him.
Okay.
So no, I've not heard it. Me, I will not like.
I agree with you.
So
you don't have a problem because you choose what you choose to hear things that are convenient for you.
But just 30 seconds to a minute. I want us.
I wish your producer could play Afenyo Markins press conference on the 2nd or so of February.
Okay. Yeah. I want us to look at this part of your base being hurt, and from a pure legal perspective.
I wasn't speaking from that.
I know, but we should educate our base.
It's not that easy, boss man.
No,
you know what
but
this
you
is.
have a responsibility to educate your base to know that the country is not
when you know the thing actually will kill you one day.
I should allow them to tell them.
Honorable, let's make progress. But yeah, the education is important. It goes for both political parties. They must understand what is called the rule of law and not read political meanings into everything. Both of you are guilty of this. So let's move on. Let's, but closely related today, and I think that you intimated that in your earlier submission when we raised the issue about the sparing of the special prosecutor and the ECJ and their deputies. And you raised the issue about the CPI. CDD, CPI. You get a correlation. Now, the story is still in the same daily graphic, and it says that Dixon Walanyo Doche says that the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD, has described President John Dramani Mohammed's first day in office as one marked by strong reform signals and visible corrective steps, but cautioned that significant structural governance gaps remain. Presenting its one-year assessment for the Mahama administration, the second coming in Accra yesterday, the policy think tank characterized the administration's overall performance as mixed, citing progress in institutional recalibration while warning that implementation deficits and democratic vulnerabilities could undermine the broader reset agenda. The report assessed the president's performance across 6 thematic areas: democracy, governance, human rights and the rule of law, anti-corruption and accountability, economy and jobs, environment and social development, foreign affairs and regional integration, and defense, security and peace building. Now, it says that the event brought together government officials, academia, the private sector, policy analysts, among others. Now, CDD Ghana has observed, and this is what it gets interesting. Now, CDD Ghana has observed that the administration sent positive democratic signals, including initiating constitutional review and reducing the size of government. However, it indicated that concerns persist over the use of certificates of urgency in Parliament, tensions following the removal of the Chief Justice, and unresolved transition-related violence. Now, while civic space remains generally open, incidents involving journalists, digital speech, arrest and police conduct underscored what the report described as mixed human rights, record. Now, on anti-corruption, it says anti-corruption and accountability. The report credited the government for launching the Operation Recover All Loot, ORAL, introducing a code of conduct for appointees and transitioning from the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan to a new ethics-focused framework. It also stated that asset declaration compliance improved significantly after sanctions were imposed. And nonetheless, the CDD flagged concerns about transparency in asset disclosures, legal ambiguities surrounding ORAL's mandate, and the need to strengthen institutional independence to avoid perception of selective accountability. And there's also foreign affairs, the security, peace building, there's economy, jobs and so on. Well, it's crediting the government for the way it's managed the economy so far, security, peace building, that the transition-related vigilante incident has also been mentioned here. And then the executive director of CDD Ghana, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, explained that first-year assessments were a global democratic tradition distinct from the popular 100-day benchmark. He stresses that in the country's 4-year cycle, 1 year was a significant milestone for evaluating tone, momentum, and policy direction, especially given constant political campaigning. We think 1 year is a good marker for assessing how the government is performing, and we are happy this year also that we have the benefit of a number of experts and analysts and people who usually study and observe and monitor our governments to join us to do this. Unfortunately, gentlemen, that we have only 5 minutes to do this because I have quite a number of messages to read, but let me just do this briefly before you, because my fear is that once I bring you guys in, I won't be able to read my message. So Kwesi Reynolds in Agona Odobin says, will not allow the EC-OSP issue to sway away from the serious decision of more treatment meted out to the hardworking cocoa farmer. At this stage, all other issues be put aside and ask the government that a whopping 1,030 cedis slash from the price of bag of cocoa can never sit well with farmers. Kwesi Reynolds in Odobin. Now, this one here says that I'm enjoying your show. You're doing very well. Kindly let your producers pull the Apenyo Markins video on their side, not meeting the CJ. Okay, right. Now, Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says that, good morning, my brother. Truth be told, I don't know why some journalists keep in this country, or keep asking the government to empower to fulfill the promise they made the farmers when they were in opposition. I don't think this is fair to government. Government only made those promises at the time based on the world market price. Okay, so Alhaji Hamza, we are not. So let us not forget the fact that the NPP as a political party are the enemies of progress of this nation, and the evidence can be traced to the Nkrumah regime. They don't wish anything good this nation when they are not in power. They should take it or leave it. The 24-hour economy has come to stay. Through the 24-hour economy, jobs will be created for the youth and to improve and build a strong economy. I call on the cocoa farmers not to allow themselves to be used for political gains. That's Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. Sam Aku Kelly says, good morning, Moro. It's great to have our democracy working despite the perceived notable flaws. At this juncture, we need to be grinding our laws into finer tails to avoid accusations and elements of selective justice. Many are of the observation that the CJ's decision on the petition seeking to remove Madam Jean Mensah and her deputies marks of political correctness are displayed. Now, if the deliberate denial of a whole constituency to parliamentary representation doesn't constitute wrongdoing and abuse of office, what then does? If we don't develop from the standards and use same to correct or remove people from office now, how do we punish another person or group of persons who indulge in same or similar things in office tomorrow without being accused of selective justice? Samuel Brian Boabeng says that well, he says Jean Mensah's IE all be settings. I see. Oh, he sends me the story. Samuel Brian Boabeng says he sees that as a case of to scratch my back, I scratch your back, and he's sending me some online publications where it says 68% of Ghanaians approve of President Mohammed's performance despite cost of living. And then he sends me this one and says that the Airbus scandal, OSB identifies Mohammed as government official but cleared of any wrongdoing. All of that, he is crediting the IEA, and he says for him he suspects a case of scratch my back to scratch my back, all the settings. Anyway, so this one, Kojo Tumbuafo, sends a message, and he says that, good morning, Mora. I really don't think you should allow Lawyer Boa Manyako to pretend like he doesn't know the law. The President of this Republic has no input of determination of otherwise whether a petition against the EC and her deputy constitutes a prima facie case that needs to be acted upon. It's the job of the CJ. That's what our Constitution says. I wholly disagree with his decision, and I pray that further petitions are submitted. Now, listening to Lawyer Boa Manyako, I'm very concerned that he's pretending like it is President Mahama who intervened in the matter. Ghanaians booted out the NPP to stop presidential interference in matters that the Constitution mandates for other arms of government to deal with. As a senior NDC member who has been a card-bearing member for 30 plus years, I would rather the EC chair and her deputy be booted out rather than the former CJ. For example, we have heard Bosman Asari say the NDC are the canker in political discourse in this country. He has no business being a referee in elections. Tafai Namarahi says, good morning, Audu. My question this morning is this. Is the Chief Justice saying that the EC bosses who deliberately deny people of SAR representation in Parliament for years haven't committed any crime? I have lots of respect for the Chief Justice, but here we didn't consider the violation of the constitutional rights of the people of SAR. Tafai Namarahi has sensed that. Alhaji Sawari, he says that it's baffling that the cocoa mess the NPP created is now being used as their trump card for political relevance and a supposed comeback in 2028. Ghanaians are watching. They are not fools. They are not fools, so... And then let me guess that I'd have to end with this. So, Niyama says that there's no correlation between the Ghana's performance or scores with the CPI and the removal of the CJ. None. If anyone said there is, let the person prove it. How is the removal of the CJ through legal process stipulated in our constitution contribute to CPI performance? I'm confused. Somebody should tell me. That's Niyama. JC Boakun, who is a political marketing expert, says, looking at it from my professional marketing perspective as an expert, these petitions are politically motivated to serve the interests of the ruling government. More than 7 people have written petitions, including Lawyer Martin, people who should know better because he has a personal banter with Kisi Ejabeng. We in the NPP are focused on building. I thought you were a political marketing expert. You're not talking about we in the NPP. Unbelievable. JC Boakun. Anyway, we in the NPP are focused on building our party and calling for unity for a stronger 2028 to elect Dr. Bawumia as president of Ghana. JC Boakun, political marketing expert. I'm not saying you can't be an expert in BNPP. I'm just saying there's a way you constantly send us message and say you are a political marketing expert. I didn't know you were a hardcore NPP member. Anyway, so let me... okay, so it's baffling that the cocoa mess the NPP created is now being used as the trump card for political relevance and a supposed comeback in 2028. Ghanaians are watching. They are smart. Oh, I guess that I've looked at this already. So Alhassan Sisi is what I'll end with. It says that from Zenu Central, is a CJ telling us that the denial of the good people of SAL representative was a good one and constitutional. With that decision alone, Jean Mensah and her deputy have done injustice to SAL constituents, and that is constitutional dictatorship in the Nana Akufo-Addo regime. And that's from Alhassan Sisi from Zenu. Now, Reverend Itim Fojo, who is there, is MP for Central. South, okay. Now, he says, he showed me a video of some government appointees, recreating, let me put it that way. I think it was had to do with the yesterday's program. It's some.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.